The Pope and Young Club wants to welcome you as we rally together to ensure our bow hunting opportunities for today and tomorrow. You've come to the podcast that believes in preserving, protecting, and promoting the passion for bow hunting. Join us as we strive to be the voice of today's bow hunter. This is the Pope and Young Podcast.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Pope and Young Podcast. This is Jason Roundsville, joined as always by my co-host Dylan Ray. And we have with us today one of our longtime outfitter partners. In fact, we'll have to find out how long Mike's been doing this, but we have Mike Parsons with Crow Creek. Mike, thanks for joining us today.
You're welcome. Glad to be here.
Yeah. Do you know the first time that you started doing hunts with Pope and Young?
Well, it had to be, I'm thinking somewhere maybe in the late 80s, early 90s, somewhere right in there.
That's a long time.
I'm thinking it's somewhere right in that area anyway.
Yeah, I have not hunted with you, but I have talked, I don't know how many people that I've talked to that have hunted with you that are part of the club. Yeah. And yeah. I've yet to hear a bad thing.
Well,
so
they may not be telling you everything, but that's okay.
I don't know. In fact, we're just joking around off camera, and I said the only bad thing I could even remotely come up with is that, maybe you're not the most technologically advanced outfitter that we work with. Correct. And if you'd have told me 4 years ago, the first time that we talked on the phone, and I think I'd asked you, I said, "Hey, Mike, where would you like this emailed?" And you're like, "You can just go ahead and drop that in the mailbox." And if you'd have told me then that, not too much farther down the road, we're going to get you on a video podcast, I don't know that I'd have bought that. But we appreciate you being here. We're excited to have you. And so tell us, Mike, about you and Crow Creek and what you guys are all about.
Well, I've always been just basically a bow hunter. I started shooting traditional in 1966, and that's about all I've ever done since then is traditional. But that's always been my favorite thing to do is bow hunting. And I started guiding when I first started guiding before I got my outfitting license. It was 1975, and I guided for 3 or 4 years for other outfitters. Started right off bow hunting. And we rifle hunt, of course, also, but that's how I got started, and that's my favorite time of year is when bow hunting season rolls around. That's what we're all looking forward to here, and
I think a lot of the people that are going to be listening to this can identify with that statement.
Yeah.
So in that, you've been doing this for a while, 1975. So in that time, who's the best bow shot that you've ever seen?
Well, that's a hard question to answer. I can't say I've ever seen really a good bow shot. I've seen a lot of bad ones. I'm not going to put that on any one person who's the best bow shot. So I'm not going to. No, I wouldn't know how to answer that there. But some of them do. Most of them do pretty good, though. To tell you the truth, but some of them get a little shook up, and even though they may be a pretty good bow shot at a target, but it don't happen that way when you're shooting a live animal 20 yards away. That's for sure.
It doesn't translate, does it?
It definitely does not. Yeah.
Yeah, I've seen that. I've seen that in all of the shooting sports. Is that oh man, I'm a really good paper puncher or clay target breaker, and then all of a sudden you put them in the middle of the mix and all heck's breaking loose. And
they all say, "We'll just get within 40 yards and I'll hit him," or something like that. Well, I don't listen to none of that stuff because that usually don't never happen.
Yeah, that's so now I know we always do elk hunts with you. Is that your primary quarry over there?
Yeah, elk, mule deer, whitetail, black bear, antelope, and our mountain lion hunts we do in the wintertime. Yeah.
Okay. And where are you guys out of?
Our hunting cabin is on the north end of the crazy mountains on a couple of big ranches I had there for about 37 years now. So that's where we're based out of right now. Yeah.
Okay. And it's in Montana?
In Montana. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. We like to just make sure everybody knows. And I know you've been doing, like I said, I've been on board for 4 years. And I think you were one of the first outfitters that I talked with when I came on board. I think we were putting together a raffle or something. And, you know, we've done raffles, you've done auction hunts for us for conventions. You know, we really appreciate that partnership. That's why we wanted to have you on, is just let people know that, you know, if you're looking for the real deal, that this is it. And like I said, I've talked to a lot of people, a lot of hunters that our listeners would recognize the names of, have come out and hunt with you. And these are guys that don't always say good things. They don't say they don't say nice things just to be nice. You know, they give me the legitimate scoop. And
and we don't advertise like booking big trophy hunts, and we don't guarantee nobody a shot or nothing like that. But I tell them if they want a guaranteed hunt or a big trophy bull of some kind, and go somewhere else. But we do pretty good here anyway for what we have around here anyway. So, but we do pretty good, and most of them keep coming back. So there must be a reason for that.
That's right. Now, would you consider, what's your best? Is elk your big one? And then you kind of do the other ones? Okay.
Yeah, elk's the main one, bull or rifle, either one. Elk's our main one, yeah.
Okay. And then after that, would it be, what do you think it would be, the mule deer or
I think probably whitetail. Yeah.
Okay.
Mule deer is kind of so during archery season, especially, but we have fantastic whitetail hunting down on the Musselshell River. And then I would say our spring bear hunts is our next popular one. And then also our lion hunts in December and January would be probably the third one.
Okay. And how are you guys doing the lion hunts? Are those off of snow machines or?
All snowmobile. Yeah, everything's
Okay.
all snowmobile that time of year. So we get so much snow up here that's about the only way you can get around up here.
Yeah. Yeah. It's, not everybody understands there's places that when it starts snowing and snowing, there's places you just can't get to.
And it's one of the tougher hunts of lion hunting. You know, you got to deal with the snowmobiles and the dogs and then the snow conditions and getting from point A to point B. So it can be a lot tougher hunting than just elk hunting, either archery or rifle, either one. But I'd say our lion hunts are one of the tougher hunts anyway. Okay.
Now tell us about your elk hunts, specifically the archery elk hunts. What, you know, somebody shows up in camp there, and what can they expect? What kind of hunting are you guys doing?
Well, what we start out with, first I want them to, we have a lot of life-size decoys set up, and I want them to get some shooting in, because they've been doing it anyway before they come here, they say, but we like for them to shoot a little bit every day if they will. And then in the morning when we get up, we'll get up a couple hours before daylight, and some of the places we've got to go is an hour away, and someone's only 10 minutes away. So we'll get everybody lined out, have breakfast, and most of the time on the private ranches that we hunt, it's early in the morning, a couple hours of hunting, maybe 3 hours. Elk go in, bed down, don't bother them, leave them alone, don't go in there and try to bugle them out of their beds or anything. Just forget about that. And then come in for lunch, hang around for a couple hours, and then we'll go back out in the afternoon. And when the elk get up moving around a little bit, then we start working on them again. But we got places where the elk go in, kind of a little sanctuary, we call it. We don't like to bother them in there. And we just don't disturb them at all, and just let them go and come when they want to. So, but a lot of guys pressure elk too much, and they just leave the country and go somewhere to another county or something. But we don't do that. So we always have elk on the ranch the way we hunt them anyway.
Yeah, that's I think it's neat that you have an opportunity like that where you have an area that you control the access and you can allow that. And I think I've seen that on a place that I hunt in Eastern Oregon, even where there's one bedding area that if you stay out of, you'll literally have elk the entire season on the ranch.
And that's why you have to do it. Even in rifle season, we do the same thing. We got a couple areas we don't ever go in rifle hunting or bow hunting. We either catch them going in early in the morning or catch them coming out in the afternoon. So we always have elk there no matter what. We operate the way we do anyway.
You know, Jason, that's one of my favorite. So we're running a raffle right now. We're running a raffle right now, the Summer Sizzler, and one of the prizes is an elk hunt with Crow Creek. And my favorite thing I get is, why would I buy tickets for a chance to elk hunt when I can go elk hunt for, $500, $600, whatever? I'm like, well, yeah, sure you can, but you're not getting a world-class hunt. Like,
no,
you're hunting over the counter and you're hoping for a raghorn, you're not hunting world-class elk with a world-class outfitter. And that's really the difference, is right there. So there are a few tickets left to our Summer Sizzler. Not a lot of time, and not a lot of tickets.
Very few tickets left. This is, let's see, this is airing on Tuesday. And, so yeah, if you want a ticket, you want to go hunt with Mike, you can buy a ticket online and we'll put the link up, but, we're not expecting too many tickets to be available tomorrow. So
the easiest way to do that is to go to pope-young.org. Right at the top, it'll say Summer Sizzler. Hit that link and go get your tickets, because they will not last much longer.
Yeah.
I'm hoping we're not saying all this and they're sold out by the time this episode airs.
It could happen. It could. Hey, you know what? What a neat problem to have. And this one's been, it's funny because we run raffles for all kinds of different things. I mean, you name it, Cape Buffaloes and Yukon Moose. And, and it may go back to when we ask people their favorite thing to chase, a lot of guys say whitetails, but I would say the top two answers would be elk and whitetails. Those are the ones that people really like it. And so we have had just phenomenal luck with some of our elk raffles. People just love it. And they want to go elk hunting, and they want to, I think some of it is a lot of these guys, they want to go every year. And if they can do it in multiple states. And so this is nice thing about in Montana, we have other guys that are hunting New Mexico or Arizona or Colorado, and this is just one more opportunity for them to get out there.
Right.
So yeah. So you don't want to say you didn't want to say who the best bow shot was you've ever seen. You want to tell us who the worst bow shot was you've ever seen?
So, I'd have to say a lot of them.
Now we're getting to the nitty gritty.
Yeah. Come on, Mike. Throw us out a little tidbit.
I was telling him, I said, you're supposed to be shooting behind the shoulder and the lung and not hitting them in the horns. That happens once in a while too, though, believe it or not.
It's amazing. Go ahead, Dylan.
No, you're good.
It's amazing how fat, when you get into elk, elk are a big creature, and it is amazing at how fast everything can happen. It's like you look and you're like, okay, all of a sudden you range this thing at 80 yards and you look over here and you're watching a couple of cows on this side, and all of a sudden you look back and this thing's at 42 coming. And it's literally right now. You're like, I just ranged it. It's 80 yards. And it just bam, bam, bam. And I think people sometimes can underestimate the speed at which
the biggest problem with most of the people that don't understand it is movement. I mean, you can't get away with too much movement when you got a bull there 20, 30 yards away, but some of them think they can. But that's what gets a lot of them there. And like I was telling, if you got the wind on them, and you could have a Santa Claus suit on, and as long as you're still and concealed real good there, that bull's not going to notice you too much there. But some guys try to draw back when the bull's on the perforation on the side, and they pick them out every time doing that. But movement's the main thing when them bulls get close like that. They'll pick you out, even if you blink your eyes. So that's the main problem. We have a lot of guys that don't understand that.
Yeah, that's one of the big things when we talk to folks about crossbows, and their crossbows aren't legal here in Oregon for archery season for obvious reasons. But that's one of the things is I don't know how many times I've been in a position to where if I didn't have to draw my bow, if it was just sitting there like a rifle or something else,
Yeah.
wouldn't have been, you'd have made the shot because it'd be all over. But with the bow, that just adds a whole nother dimension. You're like, okay, I now have an elk that I thought was going to come out at 45 yards, who's now at 15 yards. He's standing there, wind's good, and I can't get my bow drawn. I have a great shot, and there's no chance that you can get your bow drawn and get an arrow in him because he's going to see you. And they don't, it's not like you make some movement and they just look, oh, what's over there? They take off. I mean, they're gone.
That's exactly right. And a lot of guys tend to have a lot of tendency, and most of them do that I've been around, is they do too much calling anyway. They overcall more than what they really need to do. And when they're trying to call a bull in or something. So, if the bull's coming in, let him come in, just shut up, and if you get a shot, good. If you don't have a good shot, let him walk. And that's just the way it is. Just don't make a bad shot on him, just let him go. And then maybe you'll get a better opportunity later on. But that's the main thing.
Yeah. Well, it's tough because it happens fast and it's exciting. Get that.
What I was going to ask is, since you won't tell us who the bad shot is, what's that one recovery story? Like where you thought there's no way we're ever going to find this bull, and then there it is.
Yeah, that's for sure. Sometimes I hated to do it a couple, 3 times overnight, but sometimes I just wasn't sure of the hit. I'm sitting back 60 or 80 yards. I can't see where the hunter hit the bull. I'm just going by what he's telling me. And I said, well, and we might wait a little while, maybe go eat lunch, come back, still can't find him. But then we'll wait and go back next morning, and we might find him 100, 150 yards away, dead. And that time of year, if it's a little warm, they'd be a little bloated up and all that. And you hate to lose the meat, but sometimes that's what happens. You don't know exactly where the hunter actually hit the bull at, because I can't really see that all the time. So I really don't know where the arrow hit most of the time. I just got to go with what they tell me. But most of the time, if they make a good hit on them, we'll find them somewhere around there, though. But otherwise, you just keep your fingers crossed. And
and if you don't make a good hit, elk are one tough animal.
Yeah, you might you can get a one lunger sometime. You never see him again. That happens before too, But just be patient and don't get no hurry. And if you don't have a good shot, big thing is just don't take it. You might go home. You might go home empty-handed. That's just the way it is.
Yeah. What's the biggest mistake? Is taking bad shots? Is that probably the bigger? What's the biggest mistake that you see, elk hunters make out there?
Well, the biggest mistake, like I said earlier, is movement.
Okay.
Very big, very, very mainly mistake. Just moving around, trying to shift left to right, move up behind a bush to get a shot and all that, trying to draw back when the bull is looking kind of in your general area, but he'll pick them right out. And he pays no attention to the guy calling back here. Usually, if he catches you moving over there, his eyes are glued right on that movement he's seen right there, and he don't like that. He smells a rat right off the bat.
Absolutely. Yeah, they don't get big by being stupid.
Yeah, I know it. Yeah, that's for sure.
Yeah,
that's for sure.
I look at some of the mistakes I've made, and I think back in the day, I was so worried about getting seen, and you see that.
That's not really a big deal, because sometimes I'm a traditional shooter. That's all I do. But sometimes, and I just wear mostly like a wool pants and an odd color shirt or something. I don't always wear camo anyway, but. And sometimes I've been, 10, 15 yards from them there, and I'm froze there, not moving, got a good wind on them, everything. And it's just, you can be seen all right, but just don't have the wind on them and just don't do much for movement,
Yeah. Yeah. Cause I used to just years and years ago, I'd be so worried about them seeing me that I'd get back in a bush, and then all of a sudden an elk could walk by and you're like, well, I can't even get an arrow through this stuff. So just pretty bad. I watched a video years ago. I think it was Larry Jones. He's one of our members and measures. And he was talking, he says, don't get behind that tree. Just stand in front of it. It'll break up your outline.
Yeah, exactly right. Yeah.
So
you can't draw back when you're behind the bush or tree, and then some guys think they can, and they'll try to walk around, move over to the left or the right. Well, they'll catch you right real quick doing that if he's looking in your direction. But yeah, you need some good background behind you, and then just just be calm. Don't move anymore when you have to, really.
Yeah. Are you hunting timbered areas or open stuff where you've got, trees where you can wait?
Yeah, we do both. We do a lot of ground blind hunting over wallows. That's a big deal in our area there. And we've got probably 10 tree stands set up, different routes back and forth where they go bed and where they feeding. And we do a little cow calling. We don't do a whole lot of bugling, but we do a little cow calling. It's a bull. If I locate a bull and he's bugling, he's coming toward me, well, I don't say anything till he gets close as I can get him in there before I start saying anything.
Right.
But I don't bugle every time he bugles like some guys do. But if he wants to come in, he's going to come in, and he's looking for something in there. So you just got to be ready and have the hunter be patient and don't move around and just keep your fingers crossed he gets a shot.
Yeah. And what, so the bulls you guys are taking, is there an average? I mean, are most of the guys hunting with you, they're looking for that 6 point, or do you have guys that come in just want a bull?
Yeah, a lot of guys just come in. My guys, if everybody wants to, you'd like for everybody to get a 6 point, and everybody else would like to too. And even I would once in a while, but no, we try to get them at least a decent shot at a nice, some type of a branch antlered bull, and then he may not be a big 6 point and all. And a lot of guys don't care about that. And like I said, if that's all they want to shoot and nothing else, I just tell them, there's a lot of other places you can go to besides here to do that. You don't have to come here, but we just like for them to get a decent shot at some type of a nice branch bull. That's all we try to do anyway.
Yeah. Yeah. Dylan and I, we're shooters. So we're, we get a lot of trophy hunters on this show, and I'd like to be one. I'm trying really hard, and I've got a couple of hunts coming up here pretty quick that I'm looking forward to, that I'm really hoping I can hold off on the little ones to maybe find one of them big ones. But
and sometimes you got to do it. Sometimes you might go 3 or 4 years and you might have a shot all those years at something you don't want, but that's trophy hunters. That's what you have to do,
Yeah. Well, and I look at it, there's so many times, if you get a good 5 point bull, which is a magnificent animal standing in front of you, and they're just majestic and beautiful, and even a small elk's pretty big when you're looking at him at 30 yards, and you start looking, you're like, man, how many times in my life, how many seasons have I had go by where I would have loved to have had an opportunity at that particular. And so that's how my brain processes. It's like, man, there's been a dozen times that I would have given anything for just a shot at that bull. And then,
that's for sure. Yeah, I've had some guys in tree stands there, and there'd be a nice medium size 5 by, walk by in front of him 20 yards, and I'd be watching in the spot and scope or binoculars from way off. And I said, well, you didn't want it. Well, no, I said, I want something at least got a 6 point anyway. Well, and then most of the time they probably won't never get another shot, but that's the way it is. But then some guys would like to have been sitting in that same stand and they would have shot that bull. But you get somebody like that once in a while. But we're not into the big trophy hunting deal. So if they're big trophy hunters and all, they can go somewhere else if they want to. But we don't advertise any of that kind of stuff anyway.
You don't advertise it, but I've seen it. You guys have taken some really nice
bulls.
Yeah,
we do, but I don't let on too much, but that's okay. I want them to expect when they get here. I like them. I don't want them to expect anything, but when they do see something big like that, it makes you feel better because I know we got them there, but I don't let on about it anyway.
Yeah, Dylan, I'm telling you right now, if you have ever wanted to look a salesman in the eye, stare into that camera, because Mike's a salesman, because he is right now. He's not even talking to the people that are coming to camp this fall, but he's talking to everybody out there, and he is setting realistic expectations that he knows he's going to beat. Yeah. That's how, you know what? And that's why you have happy people, because if you're promising a 380 bull to everybody in the territory, there aren't that many 380 bulls running around. So eventually people are going to be disappointed. So
that's for sure. Well, most of them come from my wife's cooking anyway. And they say if they get an elk, that's something extra. Most of them come for Sandy's cooking.
That's awesome. Yeah, that's great. Well, I haven't had that, but I'm gonna have to put that on my to-do list.
Yeah, I bet you will. Yeah.
So, well, are we gonna see you in April in Reno?
You bet. I'll be there. Yeah.
Excellent. Okay, well, we got a really good booth spot for you, and I know, as always, we really appreciate every time that we call you, Mike. You always come through for us, and you have been for a lot of years. And I just, if folks are listening right now, you know, I'm a loyalty guy, and for me, that means an awful lot that you continue to give back to bow hunting and the industry, and so I know
world
we
will
sure
be a lot
appreciate
better.
it.
This world will be a lot better if we as hunters support the outfitters that support us. I'm just telling you.
Yes.
It's very nice of you, and I enjoy doing it too. I want you to know that too. So.
Yeah. And so if you're looking for an elk hunt, Crow Creek is Mike's being a little bit modest here, because I have seen, we're gonna have to, Dylan, we'll have to pull up a couple of pictures of some of the bulls that they've taken there. I've seen some of these bulls, and there's some great trophies coming out of there. And you know what's interesting though is when you talk to the folks who've been there, and you know, some of these guys have outdoor TV shows and they're writers and different things, and it's you know, that, like you say, that's not the first thing they talk about. They talk about the experience, and then, oh, by the way, I shot a really nice bull. It's what you always hope for with an outfitter, but you just don't always get.
That's for sure. Yeah. And then anybody at you know, any hunter like that, you know, like when I go to British Columbia, Alaska, somewhere, I go up there a lot, but and then a lot of times you don't get nothing when you're shooting traditional archery like I do, but I go for the experience and looking to different camps and meeting different people and all. That's the main reason I go anyway. So I'm not always looking to kill something every time I go.
Yeah.
Do you guys have a website?
No, we'd say booked up too many years ahead of time. So I got tired of turning people down. I feel bad about turning them down. So I don't like doing that. So we don't have a website no more. So, and we just word of mouth, and that's the best you can get anyway. So that's kind of how we operate.
Yeah.
It's a good problem to have.
Yeah. Yeah. You know, that's, gosh, we don't have a website, not because we don't want to, because we feel bad for turning people away because we're booked so far out.
I know.
Yeah. Now, if you had to pick what's on your bucket list, what is something that you'd like, you know, when you're out there hunting, you want to take your trad bow out and you actually want to get, or at least want to chase, what would be at the top of that list for you?
The top of my list would always be either moose or mountain caribou. That's two of my favorite ones, because I've hunted them a lot. But that'd be my two favorite. I said, for far spotting and stalking to go, and that's what I like to do anyway, just spot and stalk on my own. And that'd be my favorite, be either moose or caribou.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's nice. Yeah. Now, have you guys have a moose season in Montana there? Yeah,
they do. It's all permit only. You know, it's kind of difficult to draw a tag unless you just luck out. But yeah, sheep, moose, goat, all that stuff's a tough draw here in Montana. But yeah, somebody's got to get it, I guess.
Yeah, somebody's going to get it. It must be somebody, because it's never me.
Never me either.
Yeah.
Putting in for 40 years, not me.
Yeah. I saw something the other day. They're like, oh, they made this big deal because somebody I think it was here in Oregon, and somebody drew a sheep tag and a goat tag, and they're both once in a lifetime tags. Mm-hmm. And they drew both of them in the same year. And I'm like, what?
That happens up here too. Somebody that's never put in before in their life, they'll draw one in the first year and been putting in 40 years like us, and it's just the way it goes. That's the way it goes.
Yeah, that is. So so if you had to chase, so mountain caribou and moose would be the ones you'd be chasing after.
For me, for traditional archery, that's my two favorite anyway.
Okay. Yeah. If you had to pick a story, either one of your stories or one from one of your hunters, what's one of the ones that stands out to you as, you know, here was just a neat experience? And
well, one time that one of my favorite hunts back in a long time ago, I was hunting with my old late buddy Jay Massey in Alaska was floating the river for a week or 10 days. He and I was, and I shot a pretty good moose there on the 5th day, and he went out and sunk in the river. So we had to get him back up, and we had to do all of our caping and cutting it up and everything in the water, which was pretty tough to do. We got her done though. And then hunting with Jay was one of my favorite hunts I've ever had. And that moose was one of my favorite animals I ever got with him. And that'd be one of my favorite hunts right there, doing that, getting that moose, and the trouble we had getting him out of there, but it was all worth it when we got done anyway.
Nice.
Yeah.
And so, one of the questions we ask everybody, Mike, is, and we've had a pretty, as we keep going, we get a pretty wide array of answers.
Mm-hmm.
But the question we ask everybody is, when you find yourself up on the mountain chasing elk or chasing moose, what is one maybe non-traditional type of item that you like to have with you on your hunts?
Oh, one thing, never go anywhere without your binoculars to start with. And then I don't know. It's hard to say. I don't carry a GPS or nothing like that, anything, but I never have. I don't even have one, but yeah, that'd probably be a good thing to have, I guess, in these days. But yeah, I don't know. I just carry my regular stuff I always carry in my pack, like I always have. I don't carry nothing extra special or anything.
Yeah, we've had some pretty good answers to that. So bacon is one of my top answers. How about you? How about for you, Dylan?
Definitely bacon. Uncrustables, obviously, for
Obviously.
certain.
Yeah, we still nick for that one.
Speaking of food, so 2 of our favorite answers are food. What's your favorite food to have in the backcountry?
Peanut butter and jelly.
There you go.
How do you keep it from getting How do you keep the bread from getting soggy?
We're going to have to mail them some Uncrustables.
I always carry peanut butter and jelly, and I usually eat it about 8:30 every morning after I get walking a little ways. But yeah, that's one of my favorites anyway.
That's good. Yeah, that's and then
we'll have to hook him up with some Uncrustables when we're in Reno, Jay.
You know what? We just need to get a hold of the Uncrustable folks. Maybe that's what we do for our Wednesday night kickoff. We just have some, Uncrustable night.
I like it.
We need to get a hold of them. Yeah. So, especially now that Mike said he's all about the peanut butter. Have you had an Uncrustable, Mike?
No.
Okay. Oh man, neither had I. And so we may have just changed your life.
We'll try it when we get down there. You have one ready when I get down there then.
We'll have one ready.
I certainly will.
Okay. All right.
Well, hey, Mike, once again, thank you so much for your support of Pope and Young and bow hunting, and for being a wonderful ambassador for the sport and for hunting in general.
Well, thank you guys.
We appreciate working with you, and can't wait to see you in Reno. We'll have you a nice prime booth set up there, and be a good opportunity for people to come see you.
All right, but I appreciate you guys. Thanks a lot. Too.
All right. Thanks so much. Have a great day. Thanks again for joining us.
All right, bye-bye.
Bye.